I just had some Tillotson parts shipping out today, and I thought, oh, you know what? I was gone for 5 days. I should probably do another video, and trying to do these a couple times a week. But yeah, Tillotson. So Tillotson parts are shipping out, and again, I mentioned last week on one of my lives, I'm going to start doing more live videos as I'm organizing stuff because it's kind of a tedious, boring job. But I can talk to the camera, and if you see anything in the video that you need for your karting program, just let me know, and we can get those sent out to you. So pretty much the way I work, everything is always for sale, and I'm constantly organizing because the inventory is always turning over. And yeah, so that's it. But yeah, like I said, Tillotson stuff. So I was shipping out some Tillotson springs and Tillotson carburetor brackets. Today, also had some braided water pump belts. I was shipping those out yesterday. That was good. But yeah, I had this stuff on my website. But I know, like, I am one of those guys that I'm a pretty visual type person, so it's kind of nice to see stuff and go, oh yeah. I try to do on my website. I try to post a lot of measurements and descriptions, so that way it's pretty straightforward on what the item is. You know, we have a lot of new people looking at the channel. So it's good to show them, hey, these are the important questions you should ask when you're looking for stuff on karting, because as many of us who have been around it for a while, everything's interchangeable till it's not, and vice versa. Nothing's interchangeable till it is. So that's just karting in general. But yeah, so I've been wanting to do this for a while. I have my, over here, I have my I have my Tillotson box. Everything is part numbered and stuff, but they're not in bins. So I might as well take the time, since I shipped out some carburetor base gaskets today. This is actually what I shipped out. So as you can see, HL 166, 360, and 395. And yeah. So I was shipping these out, and I'm tired of digging through the box. So I might as well put them in a nice tray and organize them. And then plus it's a lot faster to see. Although with the Tillotson stuff, once these are sold out, these are gone. Buy out from a completely kind of obsolete engine package. But a lot of the stuff is interchangeable. So like the base gaskets, this one here is for the 395 carburetor, so the Tillotson 395. So a lot of the stuff is interchangeable, even though the actual engine buyout that this came from is obsolete. But yeah, just sitting here, like I said, organizing, have a conversation. If you want to talk about something, let me know. And if you don't want to talk about something, that's fine. If you want to see other videos that are more relevant to you, put that in the comments. And just say, hey, we want to see more videos on your sticker collection, or we want to see more videos on Tony Kart Cadet chassis that you have in stock. I'm just making stuff up. I do that a lot. But yeah, and there's another app I've been using called Whatnot. And if you're an online shopper, you're probably very familiar with Whatnot. So I've been using that app as well. And it's like anything, right? You need to grow the channel big enough so people actually see it. And my consistency isn't very good with some of this stuff. I wear a lot of hats in karting. This past weekend, I was working with Rock Sonoma. I was doing the announcing for them. And that was on Sunday. But then Thursday through Saturday, you'll see me tag GFC Karting quite frequently on my business pages, because I do contract work with them on a very regular basis. So I'll tag them. I was actually at their shop and at the track doing support for the last 4 days. And yeah, so my content creation isn't very consistent, which is probably a big no-no in the content creator world. And let's be real, some of my content's not even that riveting anyway. I mean, like, who really, the outside world, are they really interested in Tillotson base gaskets? Even in the inside world, if you're running a Mikuni, you probably don't care about my Tillotson videos, and vice versa. I will be doing a series, though, on Mikuni fuel pump rebuilds. I have a bunch of pumps, and when I get more shop help around here, I'm probably going to put people on board. Hello, thanks for tuning in, Magma Urchin. Thank you. Sorry. Not sorry to you. I was trying to figure out how to give you a thumbs up or say hello, but I just verbally did it. So there you go. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing those videos. The hardest part is just taking the time, setting it aside to do the video when there's so much other stuff going on in the shop that needs attention. Oh, you know what? I think I just gave myself a good idea. I'll be right back. I'll be back. I'm not tuning off. I'm gonna take one of these bags, cut it, put the gaskets in that bag. It already has a part number on it, and that seems way more efficient. Still here. I need a razor blade or scissors. Something. My shop is probably the most unorganized, organized place you could ever visit. I overthink the absolute most stupid stuff, and anyone that knows me is nodding their head right now, going, "Yeah, he's right. Jason's not a liar. He does overthink the stupid stuff." And with that being said, where is... I'm looking for that part number, 0005. I just had it, but maybe I'll do that last. Okay. 117. Tillotson 11. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's this one. So, yeah. But yeah, I overthink stuff. And I am, on a regular basis, going to start live streaming. Again, a lot of it's just to show you what I have going on in the shop, because most of my inventory is not even online, which sounds ridiculous, but I've showed many of you many times the different walkthrough videos and how much inventory there is. Like right now I'm doing Tillotson stuff. I have a lot of Honda CR80 and a lot of Honda CR125 parts that are not inventoried. I'm not going to lie. I'm a huge hoarder when it comes to the Honda stuff, because that's what I personally raced years ago. And part of it is familiarity. Familiarity. Is that a word? I'm just very familiar with the Honda stuff. And like all of us old racers, we kind of latch onto the past and talk about how much better things used to be in the way back when. And I really try to caution myself from doing that, because I really enjoy the new technology that comes out in karting. I do enjoy it, but I haven't actively raced in a number of years, and so living in the past a little bit is sometimes a little too natural. Okay, I'm not understanding why this might have been just the wrong part number, but nonetheless, it'll work. Yeah, and if you guys want to talk about something, leave a comment, leave a message. Butterfly screws, Tillotson butterfly screws. There you go. 15-C52X. Look how tiny those things are. I'm trying to find... I don't have any change in my pocket where I give you a reference, like put that on top of a penny or something, but those are butterfly screws for the Tillotson carbs. Primarily the HL series, and I'm sure some of it will cross over. Lever, that goes on the end of the throttle shaft, hangs out, and then you put your throttle cable here. And so that's the lever assembly. That's for the 166B. Again, it's probably interchangeable with a lot of different carburetors. I'm actually very curious. I have the low-speed needles and the high-speed needles. I'm curious if those would actually cross over to the newer Tillotsons as well. Taper is extremely important when you're dealing with stuff like that. If the taper is wrong, then that's not going to help you out. Unless you're an expert at blueprinting the Tillotson carburetors and you start messing with different tapers. But most of our racing is spec racing, so we're not allowed to really kind of tamper with that stuff. Oh, I sell a bunch of these throttle return springs. These do work for the Vortex VLR engine and the IAME KA100 engine. I sell a bunch of these because every time someone takes an engine off or a throttle cable off the carburetor, they completely lose those. And what I find pretty clever, what GFC does, and I'm gonna steal one of their tech tips to share with you. So you have your engine, right? You have your carburetor. What they do is when they take the return spring off, they just slide the spark plug wire between one of the coils near the intake. Because typically, the coil stays with the engine. And a lot of times customers will swap carburetors back and forth or do that. So what they do at GFC is they take the spring and they hook it on the spark plug wire, and that way it stays there as long as it doesn't get hit too hard and jars it right back off. But I found that to be a very clever way of solving the problem of missing throttle return springs. Brackets. I sell a bunch of these. I sell these all the time. These are the brackets that bolt to the body of the carburetor. And then you have your cable holder here. So, and I don't even know why I sell so many of these. I personally can't recall seeing these break under normal conditions. But yeah, I sell a lot of those. And you can find those on our website. Yeah, that's bags and bags and bags. What else do we got? I used to sell a bunch of the throttle shafts. It's funny. This little brass piece wears out, and then you get slot between the arm and the shaft. I've seen guys, monkey wrench the screw through the butterfly here and strip it out. And I've seen guys over tighten the end cap or the end screw and strip it out. But usually on this piece, if it starts to wobble between the arm and the shaft, get rid of it, because then you're going to have everything fluttering here. I'm trying to show you. I don't have everything here. There we go. So you have the barrel end that has, let's call that, for lack of a better term, oval. Let's call that an oval shape. That matches up with the oval shape on the end here. Then you have a little screw that secures it. So that'll wear out. Usually these break off on this end, so you have to replace that. But I have seen quite frequently where the shaft and the stop, the arm here, there's slop. You don't want that, because that means the butterfly could flutter in the middle of the midstream, or that can bend and change where the throttle stop actually is. So yeah, if it's not nice, tight, and secure, replace it. But yeah, I used to sell a bunch of those. And these might be specific to the HL 166 carb, but I could be wrong. I have to go back in my notes. Carburetor washers. The washers that go underneath the two studs that stick out of the case. So that you have your washer, then you have your nut. I'm going to need another tote, it looks like. What else do we have here? Oh, pop-off springs. Plenty of pop-off springs here. Inlet tension spring. There's 2 in the pack. There you go. I'm trying to get it back in focus. Yep. Pop-off springs. Again, most of this stuff came from the HL 166 carburetor when it was used for the PRD Fireball engine. But as you can see, a lot of this stuff is interchangeable. Let's see, we have more gasket kits and washers. Washer, I'm going to take a wild guess that goes, no, I don't think so. I was going to say maybe underneath the needle, but I'll have to double check the part number on that. And then, oh, shoot, I needed this. RK114 rebuild kits. I needed these. That's pretty interchangeable with a lot of stuff. RK114. So that's the needle and seat. So you have the seat is what right here. The needle, the fulcrum arm. Those little pop-off springs I showed you earlier goes under the fulcrum arm. And then you have the washer that the seat squishes between the seat and the carburetor body. So I'll have to double check the part numbers on that stuff. And then we have needle springs. So these are the springs that go over the needles. I need to double check that all this stuff is actually on my website. It used to be. And then I had a bad sync job between my website and eBay, and what is that? Oh, that's for the cable housing. That doesn't look like the right size, but I'll address that later. Oh, nice little fuel screen. Fuel filter, internal fuel filter screen. Yeah, so I had everything all good and going on my website and eBay, and I was messing around with the settings one day, and the eBay stuff imported over my website stuff, and all my inventory got lost. Not lost, it was incorrect. And there wasn't a function for me to go back in and basically hit, oh shoot, reverse, fix, right? There wasn't that like Control Z. Is that what it is? Control Z on a keyboard where you can go backwards. So it didn't have that. All my eBay inventory came in, overwrote my website inventory. And I keep telling myself, I'm just going to blow everything out. I'm just going to go open house 2 days, bring cash, blow everything out, and just start from scratch. And then as new inventory comes in, I can post it. And I probably should do that just to make inventory a lot better. And then as new inventory comes in, now that I actually have a procedure to put it online and streamline stuff, and we have more shelves because of our buddy Walter, then it would just make more sense, I think. So I'm rambling a little bit because that's what I do. And but I'm looking for some totes over my shoulder. And that's one of the obstacles that I have with my style business is my inventory is always changing. I'm not your typical cart shop that carries one specific brand that has to inventory the same set of brake pads or the same steering columns or tie rods. My inventory is always changing. And I'm not complaining. That is the business model I have decided to go with. But in doing so, sometimes it makes it harder to organize stuff. I have a business call coming in, so I'm going to end this short. So bear with me for a second. Thanks for tuning in.